Let's see if we can quiet the beast today. So, I've been hinting at this product here. It comes from Fruition Designs. They are a subsidiary of Fruits and Associates. They do 3D printing and stuff like that. This kit is supposed to encapsulate all of the KS0 Ultra, the Pro, the regular, and should also work with the upcoming Alephium AL0 that IceRiver is also putting out, because it's the exact same form factor. So let me get this all out of the box and we'll take a look at what they sent me. So inside the kit, you get the two 3D printed pieces that turns into like a clamshell and cases everything. Down below is the fan kit from AC Infinity, and they give you an instruction packet. And we can see on their website, that's basically what it should look like when it's done and it fully encapsulated. Now this kit with the fans is $135. If you get it with just the 3D printed part, it's $90 for the kit itself. So let's go ahead and open up the instruction packet first. So inside the instruction packet, they give you 8 zip ties and the instructions themselves. Very easy. Step 1 and 2 tells you to remove your side panels. Knock out one of these things so you can get wires through on the 3D printed parts. Shows you how to assemble the unit itself, and shows you 2 different mounting options once it's fully built. So let's take a look at the fan kit itself. Okay, so the fans are just a box directly from AC Infinity. This is the Axial S1238D kit. Should be 2 fans, controllers, stuff like that in there. Actually, these are just fan grills. 4 fan grills. Goes out of the way. There we go. We got 2 1238 fans. These are 110, 120 volt fans. They are not DC, they're AC. We got a controller, mounting brackets, which probably won't be used in this installation, I'm not sure, and screws and stuff like that for mounting them up to the 3D printed and also holding on to the fan guards. So let's strip this back down, get my modified fan controller off of here, and we'll start assembling. Okay, so I pre-punched out 1 hole on each side of the unit, one for the power input and the other one over here for the Ethernet to come through. Now, thankfully, that 330 watt power supply has a fully disconnectable outlet, so I can actually put this through before I actually put the clamshell together. I don't have to worry about feeding it through and being all janky. Same thing with an Ethernet cord. I have a dedicated cable just for it, so this way, once it's all assembled, I don't have to play games with anything. So, with that being said, let's grab this power cable, pre-feed it through. Unfortunately, it's only going to go as far as the ferrite B, but that should be just enough for me to plug it in. Okay, so that's now plugged in. This should slide right in here. It's a snug fit. There we go. Yeah, it's definitely a nice snug fit in there, but it is in there quite nicely. So, now that I got this half done, let's take care of the other half. Okay, so for the other half, let's pass through our Ethernet. Get that through. Plug that in. And now we should be able to just close the clamshell around. Okay, almost there. Takes a little bit of elbow grease. Okay, and it is definitely sealed. It locked onto itself. You're supposed to put 4 zip ties across here, and I will. But the thing is, it's so tight, it's a great fit already. So, we're supposed to, pass through here. just to hold it shut. One and four. Trim them back. And it is definitely sealed in there now. Okay, so I got the fans out. You see they're 120 millimeter. They are AC fans. These are our two plugins that we're going to be looking at. Now, you'll notice on here, hopefully it shows it up, one says rotation, one tells you airflow. So we want to mount one with the airflow coming in, and then the other one in the back with the airflow going out. So let's go ahead and mount this first fan here. I'm going to make sure the plugs are on the bottom, just for me. That's just, you can mount it whichever way you want, but as long as the airflow is going through. Okay, so now we have our push-pull design. Intake from this side, and exhaust from this side. Let's move on to the fan controller. So let's take care of the wiring for the fans. It's actually very easy. It gives you a central controller on one side. You have the fans, one plug-in, which is then daisy-chained into the second plug-in. And they literally just go down below. There is no polarity to these, so you can plug them in either which way you want. Actually, I think it's probably better to go this way, because it stays more with the curve of the fan. And there you go. Wires are all tied up. Not quite as pretty as theirs, but it works. Now, on the opposite side, I decided to mount the fan controller using the extra connectors that they had on here that we weren't using. They leave that to your discretion because you might want to mount this somewhere else depending upon where you locate your ASIC. And then you have your regular 120 outlet. So let me put this over to the side here, get it set up, and we'll turn on just the fans before we turn on the ASIC and see how loud or how quiet it really is. Okay, so I got the 110 plugged in. They're not turned on yet. Let's go ahead and turn them on. That's pretty quiet, but I'm also running low. Let's crank it all the way up. That is a lot of air coming out of the end here. And it's really not that loud. That is like half the volume of my one server fan. And it feels like it's moving enough air. We might be able to successfully do 700 gigahash on this kit. So that being said, let's get the ASIC turned on. Okay, so I did have it running. It was pulling about 230 watts on the 700 gigahash overclock, but unfortunately the board temperature was hitting like 78 C, and it ended up tripping. It got too hot and the MOSFETs went into protection mode, and that's with the fans all the way at the top. So this is not going to work for the 700 gigahash with these fans. It is a lot quieter. Let's go down to the 676 and see if we get lucky. Okay, I'm surprised it's still running because when we first started the 676 gigahash miner, it was running at 220 watts. As it heated up, it's finally hit up to 232 watts, which is where the 700 gigahash one was. But we've got the fan control still on high. It's as good as it can go. You can see we are running the 676 gigahash overclock, and we're getting about 687. It's bouncing around. The board temperature is 81 C. This thing has literally been running on the ragged edge for the last half hour. 1 or 2 more C and it's going to crash. Oh, it just crashed just as I was recording. I've been waiting for a half an hour for this thing to crash, and it just happened. So even this is too much for it. Let's go down to the 618 gigahash. I think that only pulls around like 180 watts if I remember correctly, and that should give us more than enough breathing room that this should run stably. So let me throw that firmware in and we'll be back. So a half hour later on the 618 gigahash firmware, we are pulling 182 watts, and it's running so much better at this overclock. The fan, I've had it running just below medium, not cranked all the way up, because the board temperature, even at that slower speed, is only 59 C. If I crank it all the way up, I think the board temperature goes down to like 54°C. So we have plenty of wiggle room here, and it's very happy. Now, granted, right now at the 30-minute mark, it said 551 gigahash. Let me switch over here to the regular display, and you can see you had your ramp up. We're running about 600 gigahash. It's just the last 5 minutes we had a drop off, but it's basically still doing 600 gigahash. It's just bouncing around like normal ASICs do. And you can also see chip temperatures. Perfectly fine. High 40s, low 50s. So, remember, you can buy this just the shell itself or with the fans. With these fans on it, this unit is great. It's nice and quiet, especially now that I'm ramped down to less than medium. This is perfect for someone who needs to mine in their house and they don't want a ton of noise and still get some overclocks with your KS0, KS0 Pro, KS0 Ultra, and the upcoming AL0 that IceRiver is giving out soon. So thank you Fruition Designs for sending this on over. Definitely good for the home miner that needs to run some overclocks in a quiet in-home design. If you really want to push up to 700 gigahash, only get the shell itself and then put two really high-powered server fans on here, crank them back a little bit, and granted, it's definitely going to be a lot louder, but you can definitely get the 700 gigahash probably even more efficiently than I did with my one. That's it for today, everyone. Take it easy.